Hey friends, Julie here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 more Pioneer Woman inspired Dollar Tree DIYs. For the first DIY, I am going to be using this cookie sheet from the Dollar Tree, as well as some of these printables that I got from an Etsy shop, which I will have linked down below for you. It was $1.95 for the download. I'm also going to be using some red paint, some white paint, and I do show this clear finish, which you could use, but I decided to just Mod Podge it, and you're going to need some sandpaper. So to begin, I am just going to give the cookie sheet a nice light sanding so that it will help the paint adhere better. And then I am going to take the red paint and I am going to just paint the rim of the tray with the red. And it did take, I think to get the red completely covered, it took like 3 coats, but it dried really quick, so it wasn't a really long process. And you don't have to worry so much about being completely perfect around the edge because we can cut in with this white paint, as well as we will be covering the border, so you won't have to worry about being perfect and not letting any of the paint bleed into each other. It'll be covered. And it did take 2 coats of white paint. And then I also painted this side of the rim because it will show, because this is a tray. Now, this is completely optional. Later that evening, I decided that I wanted to add some feet. So I'm going to use these wooden beads that I got from Amazon and some Gorilla Glue because I don't trust hot glue on the metal to actually stay. And I'm just going to use 4 of them. And I do believe Dollar Tree also sells some wooden beads. I know my Dollar Tree doesn't, but I have seen other people get them, so some Dollar Trees must carry it. And this just gives it some feet to elevate it so it's not just a flat tray on the surface. And then once all the paint is dry, I am going to be using the pieces that I decided to use. You can use whichever ones you want from the downloadable kit, but I picked these yellow lace like a border. And I am just going to Mod Podge this onto the edge. Now I am showing you that I'm painting onto the paper, but towards the end I changed my mind and I'm like, why am I not just painting the Mod Podge directly onto the tray? It was much easier that way. Now that the trim is done, I'm going to add the flowers. Now, when I Google searched Pioneer Woman tray, all of her trays were bright and colorful and covered in florals. So you could put as much or as little flowers on your tray as you want. This is what I chose to do. I used the large one for the middle and then 4 for the corners. And again, I'm just Mod Podging it on. And then once all the pieces are on, I did go through and completely cover the entire tray with Mod Podge just as a protection. Now, it's not like food safe or anything like that, but I just wanted to protect the paint from getting scraped off if I put stuff on the tray. For DIY number 2, I'm going to be using this frame from the Dollar Tree, and I specifically picked this one because of the little clip that it has. I printed out another sheet from the printable set, and then I made this Bless This Mess one on my own, just using a Word doc and whatever colors you want, but you want to make sure that it's small enough to fit a 4x6 size. So I am just going to remove the plastic and this 4x6 little picture, as well as the glue that was stuck to it so that it's smooth underneath. And this little these little white clips is what holds the metal clip on, and it was actually pretty easy to pull off. And you want to save those. And I'm going to use this backing to trace on to what will be the background of my picture. And then I'm going to cut it out. And I'm going to do the same thing with the 4x6. I'm using it as a template so that it's the right size. And again, and I used cardstock. I'm sorry, I used cardstock for this because it would look too chintzy just to use paper for this little hanging. And then once it fit into the frame, I just put it all back together. And now there's no glass in this frame, but that's the way it came. And then I need to put the metal clip back on. So at first I tried to just poke through the paper, but I couldn't line up the hole and I didn't want to mess it up. I decided to use a pencil to poke it through from the back side so that I know exactly where the hole is. And then you just hang your little sign, whatever you choose. Bless This Mess was something that the Pioneer Woman had on her sign, so that's why I used it. For the next DIY, I'm actually going to be doing a trash to treasure. I'm going to use this glass jar, but you could use any jar. You could pick one up from the Dollar Tree, as well as some red gingham ribbon, some twine, and another one of the printables from the kit from the Etsy shop. And I'm just going to cut out what I decide to use. You can be as creative as you want and use any one of the printables. And I kind of play around with it, thinking that I might add several pieces, but I end up just choosing one. And this is a pretty simple DIY. All I'm going to do is take some of the red gingham ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around the top part, the bottom part, and then Mod Podge the little decorative florals right in the middle. And I'm just going to attach it all with hot glue. I think the biggest thing with Pioneer Woman decor is that it's so bright, and honestly all of her decor looks so summery to me, with the reds, the blues, the yellows, and greens. So you could use these printables and make so many different DIYs with them, and they would all be Pioneer Woman themed and they would all go together. And then for the top, I am just going to wrap around some twine. From the original one that I was inspired by, there was twine wrapped around the top. And voila, I just added some florals that match and it's finished. For this DIY, I'm going to be using this love sign that I had from Valentine's Day, but you could use any of the signs from Dollar Tree. They always have signs that are long like this. And I'm going to use one package of the nautical rope, some red, white, and blue paint, as well as a glue gun. Now this particular sign had a metal heart here, and so there's glue left on it, so I'm just peeling it off. But whatever sign you have, you want to take off any of the embellishments and lightly sand it down. And then I am just going to be painting this red, white, and blue. The middle I am painting white, and I'm a little bit sloppier with the white because I can cut in with the red and the blue. And this actually covered pretty well. It took about 2 coats per color to completely cover it. I love this piece because it's not only patriotic for 4th of July, but it's also very nautical with the rope. And then I just took a pencil and wrote out family. I didn't do this on camera because I had to lean over it to make sure it was centered, and you would have just been looking at the back of my head. Next, I am going to just take the rope and I am just going to hot glue by tracing over what I wrote with the pencil and putting rope on there. Now I did notice that it was so much easier to cut the rope into smaller pieces than to just try to keep it all one flowing piece. So it does take a couple minutes to make sure that your pieces are cut properly, but it is so worth it because this is probably my favorite out of all 4 of these DIYs. I would love to know down in the comments what is your favorite, and if you plan to make any of them, please let me know that as well. And for the little dot, I used twine. I just rolled it up in a little ball because I didn't really like the way that the rope looked. It wasn't a circle. And here is the family sign. And then here is how everything looks all together if you wanted to stage it this way in your home. I love these DIYs. They're so fun to make, and they are bright and cheerful and perfect for summer. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.